welcome to the Portuguese Collective. Andrew DaCosta, we know him as DJ Infinite. Welcome.
What's up? What's up? Thank you so much for having me,
You're
Sylvia.
so welcome. I have to just say it right off the bat. I'm claiming it right now. You are the DJ of the Portuguese community.
Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't just know you from seeing that you performed at the IPMAs. I think we were friends on social media before that, and I've just been
Mm.
watching your weddings and all of the energy that you've been doing. And really, I saw the IPMA after party, and I was like, I'm going next year. There is no way
Yeah,
I'm
that was
missing
lit.
that. That looked like so much fun.
Yeah,
How
there's
was
so much
that?
fun. It's great. Great experience as always. The founders, Zach, Dave, and Manny, they're awesome people to work with. I always grew up kind of like wanting something like that of that scale, and they do it right, man. They bring the right artists, and they do. It's a spectacle to see.
Yeah, I just actually watched it last night and it's done very well. And the hosts are amazing. They have such a
Yeah.
good chemistry with one another.
Mm.
So obviously you're Portuguese. We could tell by the background, by the
Right.
jersey. If
Come
you're just
on.
listening, he is decked out.
Yeah, custom made jersey
Love
right
it
there.
so much. So do you mainly do Portuguese events?
Yeah, so I kind of try to stay in my lane when it comes to that. I'm obviously cultured in the music, so I try to stay in that, and that's where I excel the most.
Yeah.
Is with Portuguese events, Portuguese American weddings. It's where I do best at
Weddings are your thing, right? With all
weddings.
those
Love
awards you're
weddings.
winning with these weddings. It's so
It's fun.
weddings are so fun. I always say weddings are my favorite party.
Yeah, they are. They're so
People
much
get
fun to
busy.
do.
And I love for us, we spoke prior to this, but we just started adding DJs to our sets with bands in between our
Mhm.
sets, and it's been the best transition because it keeps people on the dance floor the entire time. So
Right.
it's not like people going to the bar and emptying out the dance floor. Like there is always people on the dance floor. So more people got to think about that too to
Of
kind of
course,
maximize our experiences in the community too, and having the bands and the DJs work
of
hand in
course.
hand with one another. So how did you start as a DJ?
Wow. I started DJing when I was about 17, 18 years old. I guess my love for music started way before that. Growing up Portuguese, growing up with all the music, I was always into playing music and learning how to play instruments and everything. Once I learned reading music, writing music, I kind of took a turn where going to a lot of weddings as I was a kid, I always looked forward to the music and the entertainment. So I always wanted it to be a really good DJ, DJ and the food for me. And I see that trend a lot with couples that, the biggest thing is like, oh, we want the food to be good and we want the entertainment to be good. So they kind of splurge a little bit on that, which is great. But when I turned 18, my wife had her graduation party. We were dating at the time, but her high school graduation, and a friend of mine was DJing it. And I said, hey man, like try this with that, or different types of music. So he's like, oh, like you seem like you're pretty interested in this. So I said, yeah, man, like this is awesome. I've always loved music. He's like, I got a second set of speakers, and extra, extra turntables. You want to do some parties? Whatever I'm not available for, you can do. So it kind of started off like this, doing things like that, kind of being his backup
Yeah.
to the point where a lot of his clients would actually be like, "Hey, is Andrew available this weekend? We'll take him. We'll do him. Like we'll get him." And they were like calling him and requesting me, and I'm like, "Wow, like that's pretty cool." So he admired that, and then it got to a point where I wanted to evolve. I wanted to grow, and I said, "Hey, let's get way more into weddings. Let's invest in lighting. Let's invest in special effects." And he was kind of like he was content with where he was at because it wasn't really his full-time gig. So I kind of broke it off with him, and I started my own thing, and I wanted to grow. I really wanted to grow and get really good at the craft, to the point where some like even more like those special effects things that you can add on for weddings, such as like photo booths and things like that. I don't do myself. I have other people that do it for me because I don't want to lose focus of what's more important for me and what's my main thing, which is DJing.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of like those big entertainment companies that offer so much kind of lose quality along the way with every extra thing that they offer because they're so focused on like, all right, the photo booth's there, this is there, that's there, like extra lighting, extra special effects, different things like that. Or even if you're an instrumentalist too, kind of lose focus on the bread and butter of it, which is like the DJing for me.
So your niche is weddings.
Yeah.
That's your thing. That is so fun. I'm sure you're booked nonstop, especially throughout the
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy this year. I kind of had a little fall, not a fallback, but I have a growing family. I have two little boys, happily married to my high school sweetheart, and like she kind of she loves what I do and she supports me 100%. But it's something that I kind of brought in after I started dating her. So
Yeah.
it was very like a big like change for her. So, she didn't ask for this, but it's something that I,
I
I
can
love to
relate.
do. You know what I mean? So like, but it's something I love to do, and she's been great and helps me out with a lot of stuff.
What I see from your videos is that you're actually very interactive with your crowd as well.
Mm,
So there's a big difference between like just a DJ and somebody that
yeah.
knows how to host as
Hmm.
well and kind of get the crowd going. So I think when
Yeah.
you're booking like something like a your wedding, you
Hmm.
have to actually know who you're booking rather than just thinking, oh, well, they're just gonna play some songs, they'll be
Well,
fine.
I tell all my couples all the time that you need to get with any vendor. Obviously, you throw a wedding on anything, it's going to be expensive. But with any vendor that you get, if it's something that you truly value, whether it's photos, video, DJing, or whatever the case may be, or even cake, flowers, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
If it's something that you value, do your research and get the right pick for you, because what's right for one person isn't necessarily right for you. Just because I have all these five-star reviews and all that stuff like that, it's great. Obviously, like through those reviews, you can definitely pick out like all the points that you like. But just because you see on my Instagram somebody having a crazy party going nuts, like if you book me, there is no guarantee that that's going to happen. It all depends on your crowd. You also have
Yeah.
to kind of bring me that energy as well. And not even that, to the point where it's like, all right, I do Portuguese American weddings. That's my favorite thing to do. That's what I'm really good at. If you come up to me and you're like, hey, like my family is like from Armenia and we're super involved in that, and like I'm Asian or whatever the case may be, like I'm not comfortable doing a wedding like that, because one, I don't know enough about the music. Two, I don't
Yeah.
know enough about the culture. If your culture is super important to you in your wedding, then you need to get a culturally appropriate DJ.
So
You
true.
know, I feel like because anybody can get any type of music, right? So like I can go online right now if I could get like Asian music or like Armenian music or Russian music. I can do all that stuff. But I don't know what's the context of that music, what the lyrics are saying, like what's if it's a popular song or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, like being Portuguese, I know exactly all the hitters. I know what they're playing in the clubs in Portugal now. I know what the classics are. I know what people are gonna relate to the most. You know what I mean? Like if I do a Portuguese American wedding, I throw on a pizza comboio or I throw on like a manhã by dos, that's gonna go off. So it's like it's those things that you need to know.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend of mine that he got a request to play Portuguese song and he just literally went on his Portuguese playlist that I gave him and he played like Zoom 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 by I forgot who.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Yeah, which is a banger, but it's like
That's so
these people
old.
were
Oh my
it
God.
is, right? But he just like guessed he played it. Like he had no idea. Or like if he could have like I don't know, if he was playing for somebody Portuguese that was super religious, just to kind of paint a picture, right?
Yeah.
And they requested Portuguese music and he was like, okay. He's like, who's this guy? Kim Barreiros? All right, yeah. Respeito da cabritinha, right? Like you
Yeah.
wouldn't play that at a wedding, especially if a Von Vavô were around.
It just depends on the type of
It does.
Portuguese.
It depends on the crowd, but you know what I mean? So like there's things that you need to know. And I feel like if you don't know the language or you don't know the culture, you could kind of do things the wrong way.
And that's kind of hard because I have to relate it to me doing music in a band. We always curate like our set lists on the venue because we kind of know like, okay, this is a younger crowd over here. With weddings, you really have to kind of ask the bride, like, how are your
Hmm.
people?
Yeah, I normally meet with my couples twice. If they're local, I like to do it in person. Go to a coffee shop or something, sit down, tell me what your vision is, what your vibes are for your day. Because, I meet most of the time with the bride and a groom. For the most part, the bride is the one doing all the talking.
Yeah.
But, I asked them like, hey, like how do you growing up as a little girl, how did you envision your wedding day?
Yeah.
Like what did you want most out of it? Whether it was memories, photos, or whatever. And they kind of give me like the background of how they want, like, oh, these are my flowers, this is what I was thinking for colors, things like that. And then I asked them like, All right, so what's your guest list like? Like, what's the demographic of your guests? Is it more friends? Is it more family? Are there older people? Are you having kids at your wedding? Like, all that factors into the type of music that I'm going to play and the type of energy that I'll bring. If they're like, hey, we have a huge wedding party, it's all our friends from college, I know it's going to be like, oh my God, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
If they're like, hey, my parents are paying for the wedding, so it's going to be mostly like my parents' friends, because that happens a lot too. Then I know, like, all right, if they're Portuguese, I asked them, like, hey, question, which a lot of this gets lost. I asked them, like, hey, when did your parents come to America? Because it's not just the Portuguese music, it's what they were listening to when they came here,
Yeah.
right? So, like, for example, my dad came here in 88, right?
ABBA.
So, like, the 80s music, like, he was going to the club and he was hanging out. So, like, I asked him one time, I'm like, Dad, like, what were you listening to? Oh, I love Rod Stewart. I love
Yeah.
ABBA. The late discos, like that was like the end of like the disco and like
Yeah.
kind of the beginning of like a lot of like Stevie B freestyle stuff like that. A lot of that freestyle, like
That's a great
hip hop
question,
and dance.
actually.
So you kind of want to like think about
Like,
that. And like I asked their parents their age, like that factors into it too.
yeah, because
So
you want people to be like, "What? This song?
yes,
Oh my God."
yes.
Like to want to just rush to
Mm,
the dance floor. We
mm,
played Call Me for the first time this past weekend.
mm,
And will never forget the look on my aunt's face because she's my youngest aunt. And she
mm.
was like, and I was cracking up. I'm like, oh, this is her era. This is her
Right.
thing, right?
You want to give your guests that euphoria of like, oh man, I haven't heard this in forever, and but like they remember like all those great songs that they used to listen to when they were in their golden age, and like
Yeah.
even like my couples, I ask them like, hey, what year did you graduate high school? And then I look at like what are the hits? What were they playing when
Yeah.
they were in high school? So, and a lot of them like, I mean, I'm 31, but like a lot of them are like closer to my age now, so I can definitely relate to them and I feel it too. So it makes me even more comfortable. So if I can hit that like perfect sweet spot of like a millennial Portuguese American wedding, man,
Yeah.
that party's gonna go off.
For sure. And then like also if you're inviting so many like of your parents' generation,
Hmm.
you have to mix like way more Portuguese in it because I went to
Hmm.
a wedding a few years back and I felt like it was just so much American music and I just literally watched people leave early.
Hmm.
Because it was just like, we don't wanna watch people dancing to, like, your high school hits all night.
Yeah.
Because it's fun for, like, your wedding party and the people that you grew up with, so you but it's like, don't overkill. Because you guys can go to a
Yeah.
bar the next weekend and do the same thing.
Yeah. Of
But
course.
so there's, like, that happy medium. It's like, you really gotta
Yeah.
if you're doing a
Dig
Portuguese
deep.
wedding, you really gotta make it Portuguese, you know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I try to make it so that way there's like a certain level of cohesion on the dance floor between
Yeah.
generations. So and this now, like with all these mashups that I've been making, I kind of take like an old melody and I'll put like a new recognizable like dance, like
Yeah.
the track behind it. And it's like, oh wow, like I've never heard ABBA like this, or I've never heard like,
Mhm.
different things like that. So I actually did one of my videos that I posted, one of my reels on Instagram actually went viral, which was crazy. I did George Freire, Tito
Yeah.
with This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan.
I
So
don't
it's
know if I
like,
heard that.
yeah, so it's pretty
We'll have
wild.
to
And
add
like,
add
yeah.
it to the episode.
Lá em cima um governo que tem tudo, cá embaixo um povo que não tem nada. Lá em cima um governo que tem tudo, cá embaixo um povo que não tem nada. Deve ser o governo que é tudo, ganhar e valer, acabou a enxada. Deve ser o governo que é tudo, ganhar e valer, acabou a enxada. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
So
So
you get the
cool.
hip hop going, it's the recognizable, like, this is how we do it. And it's like, "Lights sing without diddle diddle
Oh,
diddle
that's so
da." So it's
cool.
like it all flows in together.
Yeah.
And then when you hear that like drop in, it's like, wow, like you get like the recognizable George Freire lyrics, you get the bass line of Montel Jordan, and it's like people are still moving to that bass line. But then like George Freire comes in and you're like, oh, all right, like we're doing this now, but it's all about how you mix and
I
how you
love
can
that
actually
because
kind
it gives it that like that what he's doing this. This is crazy. That's so cool. So clearly, you're super influenced by the Portuguese community.
Mhm.
Where were you born? Where do you live? Let's go down like the journey of your life here.
Wow, all right. It's like VH1 True Stories. Is
Yeah,
it True Stories on VH1? Uh,
before they were
so
stars.
right. So I grew up, born and raised in Fall River, Massachusetts. My
Rosiva,
Fall River, yep, the Portuguese capital
the
of America.
Mecca.
So my mother was born here, in Fall River to Portuguese parents. So on my mother's side, I'm second generation, right?
Yeah,
My grandparents are from Água de Pau, São Miguel, Açores, which I say that very proud. I love that.
yeah.
Um, and then my
We're all the
father
same,
is
man. We're so
right. Yeah, that's it. My father is from Viseu, ela é do continente.
yeah.
Viseu, de Beira Alta,
Best of
Penalva de
both
Castelo.
worlds. There you go.
Yeah, so I love it. I love that I am both. You
Yeah.
know, it's I mean the only thing that's left is I guess Madeira, right? But I'd like to go there one day.
Oh, it's
But I
beautiful.
do. I feel like I got even more engulfed in the Portuguese culture because of that, you know.
Yeah.
And I wasn't so secluded to just like o Continente or São Miguel or you know the Azores in general, which I do. I have a kind of special feeling for both. You know, my dad's side of the family is basically all in Europe, Switzerland, Germany, all over. And obviously you know the mainland in Portugal. But then my mother's side, most of them, they all came here, you know,
Yeah.
from San Miguel, and it's just I love going out to San Miguel and being out there.
Do you
So
go
I kind of
often?
I've been so I spent an entire summer there when I was 15, and that was the first time I went.
Yeah,
I went out with my grandparents, and they you know they showed me everything, and I fell in love.
I know.
And this was after me going to the mainland, to Viseu. Since I was a kid, I went when I was 5. I went when I was 9. You know, went when I was like 3 or 4. So like I had gone to the mainland way more times than I had ever been to San Miguel. And I loved it there because I had my family there. But like where my dad's from is just very like rural. Naquelas aldeias, like very, very like old school. Like they lived off the land. They had the criação, they had the vacas, they had all the crops that they grew. So it was very old school. And I loved going there and experiencing that. And then I went to San Miguel and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. Like you got a tropical island here, and it's like it's like you're in Hawaii, but it's Portugal. Growing up there and seeing firsthand all the stories that my grandparents used to tell me when I was a kid. Oh, you know, that cidades, faz food, and you know, it's gonna smell like sulfur there, and I had no idea. And I got there and I was like, wow, like this is what it actually smells like.
Yeah.
Like I had spent my entire childhood trying to imagine like the sulfur smell from Furnas, and then I actually went there and I was like, oh wow, like this is nothing like I imagined.
And it's
So
really
it was
different going there when you're little versus like
Mhm.
when you start appreciating it. Cause I remember
Yeah,
being like dragged around, forced to take pictures in front of like my beach Thea's door from
right,
when they grew up. Like, take a picture. I'm like,
right. But
you know?
it's like ever since I've gone there, like after, anytime I've gone there after, so my wife's family is also from San Miguel. So I've been with them numerous times. Every time I've gone there and I'm sitting on the plane and it's just this like unexplainable feeling.
Yeah.
Because like I was born here, right? I have no, besides my family, I have no direct connection to the islands. When that plane is landing in San Miguel, I just this feeling comes over me. It's like I get super emotional.
Oh, you're
It's
gonna
like
make
all
me
right.
cry.
I do like I honestly I look at my wife and I'm like, babe, like we're home. Like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and it's oh,
I
man, I
think that there's something to say about the children, the immigrants or second generation,
Mhm,
whatever, feeling like home, being
mhm.
there. The smell, like that smell, the moment you
Yes.
step out of the plane, it is a different
Yes.
smell.
It's
And Portuguese people from Portugal or from the Azores or from where they won't ever feel that because
Mhm.
they're definitely not going to feel that when they come here, right?
Yeah.
It's such a that feeling that you're talking about is you can't put a name on it. Like it's just truly a feeling that you're like, how can I feel like this is home when I
Mhm.
wasn't even born here? But it does feel so close, you know?
Yeah. Like have you ever heard the song I don't know if you're familiar with the band from Canada, Starlight.
Yeah.
They I know they go all over. So
Yeah.
they have the song Viagem aos
Hmm.
It's like I feel that song within my soul. It's crazy because it's like you as soon as like that accordion hits, it's like "Dun-dun-dun-dun," and it's like you can see yourself in a plane landing there, and it's like, all right, you're gonna see family, you're gonna have a good time, you're gonna eat good, you're gonna share these memories with them, and it's like you'll have those memories forever. And it being in the island is amazing. It's so much fun.
There's also something to say about like the instant freedom you feel, like your parents all of a sudden don't care anything about your whereabouts.
Oh man,
I'm
that's
like,
funny.
I
That's so
wasn't
true
even
though.
allowed to walk to Walgreens. Now you're just letting me go until 3 de manhã throughout the
Yeah.
whole day toda. Like, what the heck?
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a crazy thing being Portuguese. Like I
Hmm.
always wonder, I'm like, do other cultures feel like this? I
Hmm.
know a lot of like Arabic cultures, they're very, very similar to how we feel very like deep with our culture, but I always just felt so Portuguese.
Right. Me too. I went to a I grew up in Fall River, but then my parents bought a house in the next town over. So I went to a different high school, kind of like a, white town type like
Yeah.
that. But there was still a lot of Portuguese people. And I went up to this girl and I knew she was Portuguese. She was born there, but she came here like as a baby, like very, very young. And I went up to her and I was like, "Hey, Maria, tudo bem?" Like she looked at me kind of like super snotty. She's like, "You're not even that Portuguese." I got so offended. I'm like, "You don't even know?" Like I got so
Yeah.
offended. She was like, "You're not even that Portuguese." Oh, I got so mad. And that
That
stuck with me forever.
well, I think that's like why I do what I do because I feel like we're like the last ones that have immigrant
Mhm.
parents. And then how are we going to keep our culture alive if we're telling people that they're not Portuguese enough because they don't speak it or they're not Portuguese
Yeah.
enough because of this or that? It's like no,
Mhm.
you're Portuguese. It's okay.
Well, so both my parents worked full time, and I was basically raised by my grandparents, my mom's parents. So that's why I kind of have a little bit more tendencies for like Azorian culture
Yeah,
rather than mainland culture. But for me, I'm like a Portuguese mutt, so like whatever.
yeah,
That's what I like to call it. But I can like in an instant, and I don't know if this is because it's a learned Portuguese, in an instant, like I can be having a conversation with my father-in-law, which he's from San Miguel, and my dad from the mainland, and I can instantly change accents like on the
really?
fly, which is insane to me. And it's like I don't know how, I don't know why. It's something that I do. It's like I could talk to my father and be like, "Oh, Miss oh, pai, no, sim, pai," no, like,
That's
but it's just
crazy.
like very like it's back and forth in a conversation,
My
you know?
mom told me because my parents are from the mainland and my husband's family is from the Sodes. And so
Mhm.
being around his family so much, and typically majority of the people that came here were from the Sodes. So all my friends that are Portuguese, they're say to San
Mhm.
Miguel basically out here.
Mhm.
And so when you're hanging out with those people, your accents change too. So my mom's
Mhm.
like, "Já estás a falar a moda açoriana." And I'm like, what am I saying?
Battle of the Bifanas, Saturday, August 23rd, Portuguese Band of San Jose, California. The first ever competition to see who makes the best Bifanas. An all-day festa with food and entertainment. There's gonna be ice cold super box and a Roj Dos eating contest.
Hey, save me some.
You can't have a battle without a winner. The grand prize, $1,000.
I want $1,000.
Battle of the Bifanas, an all-day culinary and cultural festival with tons of food, vendors, and entertainment, like Os Águias doing their farewell show. Anyone can sign up. Visit battleofthebifanas.com between April 10th and June 20th.
There's uneducated wherever you go, like mainland and the
Or
Azores.
ignorant.
Or
We can
ignorant.
say
It
it.
is. No, of course. And it's like learn a little bit, just
Yeah.
because I'm from the mainland or from like I think I'm blessed to be from both of those parts, you know? And it's like oh, like people kind of like made me feel a certain type of way when I was younger, and they were like, "Oh, tu é pai do continente, por isso é que tu falas assim." And I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
No,
like
I
I,
totally
I,
get
I
it.
live different experiences, but like, I don't know. I'm just the type of person where I can appreciate and see the good in both areas, and I can also see like the uneducated and the ignorant in both areas
Yeah,
as
I
well.
mean, and then when people think of the continent, all they think about is Lisboa. That's what they
Yeah,
think
like,
of. That the only thing they think about is Lisboa, and they're like, oh, because it's not
yeah, like very, like, they think we're snooty
uppity
or
or
whatever. Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And like my family is from Alentejo, like 20 minutes from the border of
Mm,
Spain.
yep.
Like it is not glamorous, and they have a totally different kind of
Mm,
accent, and it's
mhm.
so much
It is.
slang. And I'm like, we're not fancy at all. Like
Yeah.
that's not Alentejo at all. So I could never relate to that stigma because every time
Mm.
around my people, and I just was like, what do you mean? Because we're not like, I always felt like I was like, I feel like I see more pretentious like Asturianos than I do people from the
Mm.
continent. But somewhere down the line, I think because what Lisboa had a university or Coimbra or something had a
Yeah.
university and they just, oh, they're more educated. But when we did like ancestry, everyone from the Swedish is way more Portuguese than people from the continent. I'm like everything under the
Mm.
sun. Like I technically, genetically, I'm only 58% from what ancestry says. I'm only
I've
58%
never done that.
Portuguese.
I want to try it. I want
It
to
was
try it and just
crazy.
see.
My husband is 97% Portuguese. I was like,
Wow.
did you guys go nowhere? You guys for 200
You're stuck
years.
on that island.
And they're like, wow, you got everything you need on the island. I have so much influence of like Morocco and like even
Mm.
Italian and Spanish and all this stuff. So as I get older, I'm like, that's actually really cool, the other influences that I have. Because when I look at my parents, my dad has like the very white, light skin, and my mom has more darker, morena complexion. And they're from the exact same little town that's like you could walk the whole thing in an hour. And it's like, how do they not look alike
Yeah.
more? But
My
it,
dad has 10 siblings, right? And so a lot of them kind of look alike. And then there's one that's like blonde, blue eyes, like they called him Roberto Leal, like, which is crazy because they're all like brother and sister, like
yeah.
same mom, same dad, which is crazy because like my grandfather had the lighter eyes, so I could get that. But then the lighter like hair and lighter complexion, it's like nobody else in that family had it. So it's kind of crazy that,
There's
I
always
don't know.
one in the family. My sister has green
Yeah.
eyes and blonde hair too. My other sister has like super, super curly hair, more morena. Like we did not look alike growing up. Now we're older, we did, but like
Yeah.
you can look like anything when you're from Europe. That's just how it is.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, there's so many different type of Portuguese. It's crazy. In terms of like, because I'm super big into phonetics and dialect and language and like the Portuguese language as a whole, even like the whole Brazilian part of it too. I'm so like into how different Portuguese people say different things and how from one village they say things a certain way or they sound a little different. Even something as small as like the island of São Miguel, all those little freguesias have their own little
Yeah.
dialect. And like I said, I was born here, but I know exactly like if you're from Rabo de Peixe, if you're from Fiteiras, if you're from Vila Franca, if you're from Água de Pau, if you're from Ribeira Grande, like I know exactly where you're from based on how you talk. Like it's crazy. And same thing with the mainland. Like my dad's from Viseu, so they're notorious for like changing, like interchanging B and V
Uh,
right from up north.
yeah.
So like my dad would say, vai buscar lá copo de vinho, but like he'd say like with the B. And it's like to me, it was something that I didn't notice until I started dating my wife. Because like as an outsider, she was kind of like, oh, like, yeah, you guys talk about the Azorian accent, but like, damn, I can't understand your grandparents.
It is very weird. Like when my sister, my brother-in-law is from the Swedish, and when he speaks, when he first started coming over and speaking to my parents,
Mm.
I remember being like, I can't understand this fool. It's Portuguese, but I mean, you adapt. But then when I got with my husband, he was like, it's really hard for me to understand your parents' Portuguese, and I'm like, really? So
Yeah.
it's something that everybody has to adapt to, and there is so many different accents, and it irritates me because we should be above that at this point.
Yeah.
Like my batata frita Alex, who
Yeah.
does a
Like
lot of,
I love her. Yeah, she's
she
awesome.
is a riot. I just adore her, but she gets so much hate on her accent, and she
Mm.
gets so much hate on saying queijada, the nata, instead
Yeah.
of pastel, the nata. And being that
Mm.
I've always been like the only one from Continente around all those Sorianos, like I know those
Mm.
terms and massa
Mm.
savada or filhoses, like there's
Yeah.
all kinds of different ways to say the same thing, but
Yeah.
people get on her so
Yeah.
hard
It's
for it.
crazy.
And it's like,
It's
you guys
honestly
don't
like you
understand
should
that's her influence from her parents that lived there, and that's what they call it.
exactly.
Like
Like
that,
if you learn
you didn't
something a
make it up.
certain way, we're first generation here. Like our parents are immigrants. If you are growing up American or Canadian, right, and you have Portuguese parents, your first direct line of Portuguese culture is your parents.
Yes.
So if you learn anything at all Portuguese, it's going to be from your parents, from your family. So
Yes.
obviously, if your family has certain traditions, certain things that they do, certain foods that they eat, it's going to be their tradition. So that's going to be your lifeline. for
Mm,
Portuguese culture. So
yeah.
like you can't hate on somebody for learning, first off, learning a language, which is obviously difficult to do. So if you can speak a language and you're making fun of somebody for that, like that's not cool. But they're learning what their parents taught them, how their parents taught them. Like I grew up, like I said, half mainland, half Azorian. So like I am used to the cultures of those two
Yeah.
specific areas.
Likewise.
I don't know any, honestly, I'll be honest with you right now. The only thing I know about Madeira is Vinho Madeira, right?
Bailinho da
By
Madeira, yeah.
Biling the Madeira and like their wine that they have, Madeira wine, right?
Yes.
And like I know that they have like their folklore has like the brinquinhos and they have like the funnels on their head. That's
Yes,
all
they have
I
like
don't know
the
anything
dancing
else.
people or whatever. They had
You
things.
know, like and like I'm so like like oblivious to that. Like if I ever see like somebody from Madeira, my instant thought is like, oh, it's some continent, right? Or
Yeah.
even somebody from like a different island, like Fayal, they're more well spoken in a certain sense where like they sound like they're from the mainland.
Yes.
I mean, unless you're like super Terceirense and like I can tell you're from Terceira if like you start speaking like very like Praia da Vitória, like
Hmm.
them, right? But unless they're like I don't know, like maybe they haven't been there in a long time and they kind of lost like the cologne. Sometimes I can kind of be like, oh, like tu és do continente, and they're like, no, I sou do Terceira. You know what I mean? Like so,
And then it
I
comes
can't.
out.
Yeah, it comes out right now. They're like, oh no, I sou do Terceira. I'm like, oh okay.
Yeah, there's like you could really get some thick Brazilian accents. The same with San Miguel too.
Oh,
It
of
just
course,
depends
yeah.
how deep you go, right?
Yeah, of course. So, but I embrace that, and I love all types of Portuguese, all types of accents, and I think it's so cool. That I
You have
love.
to go to Madeira though.
I want to go one day.
I've been, I think, 3 times, and I had no expectations because I did not grow up going or anything like that. And I went, and it is so different than like I haven't been to the Sotish, but I know Soriano culture a little bit. But
Mhm.
from the continent, it was so different. The food, I mean, maybe the island vibe will feel more familiar to you, but like
Mhm.
it was just so cool. And
Yeah,
better than I would have ever imagined. And
that's awesome.
I feel like Madeira always gets left out.
Yeah, I know. It's and it's unfortunate. I mean, for me, it's kind of just like obviously personal preference and where I grew up and
Yeah.
the type of, Portuguese that surrounded me. But I don't know. I don't know too much about Madeira culture. And I
Yeah.
know that they have their own culture, which is obviously it's Portuguese culture, but it's their own traditions, their own ways of doing things, their own way of talking, their own food, their own traditional dishes. So, I mean, we have like the in New Bedford, the Madeira feast, right?
Yes.
And that's
I
like
would love
all
to play there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Like the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament, such a big hit over the years, and I might catch some flack for saying this. I feel like it's more Americanized, but it's not their fault. I feel as though,
Is that the one that gets like 16,000 people? Or is that the
yeah,
Boston?
I'm not, no, well, Day of Portugal, Fall River is a big hit. Day of Portugal, Boston is growing as well. Boston is a 1 day festival. Fall River is a 3 day festival.
Oh.
Yeah, so, but the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament, they get like, I think there was like over 100,000 people 1 year.
What?
Yeah, like crazy, like
That is
insane.
insane.
But because of that, I feel like the people that run it are now second, third, fourth generation. Like they don't even speak Portuguese anymore, which is fine. Kudos to them for continuing the culture. I just feel like now most of the bands that play there are more Americanized. Most of the traditions there, like they have like wrestling tournaments and stuff like that in the festival,
But
which is like
Portuguese people love wrestling. I don't know
yeah,
what the choke.
I don't know, but it's different than what I'm used to in terms of a Portuguese authentic festa. Not
Yeah.
to say that they're not authentic, but it's just they still have the malasadas, they have the carne spit, they
Yeah.
have all that stuff. But you can see it when you go there. You look around, you're like, oh, these people aren't. I don't want to say they aren't as Portuguese, but it's just like it's a more Americanized crowd.
So being that there's a Madeira festival, the Madeira feast,
Mm.
is it because a lot of Madeiren's people immigrated over there, or is it just
I would assume so. They
yeah?
have it's the Madeira Fields, right? It's like
Okay.
their whole concourse. That's where they do the festival. And obviously they are all Madeira, like people from Madeira. But like I said, I feel like that ship from Madeira must have come to America way
Yeah.
before like my family immigrated here.
Hmm.
Or the people from because there was like an influx. Like I feel like that certain group of people that came from Madeira to New Bedford must have been in like the 30s or the late 20s,
Yeah.
like 1920s,
Yeah.
1930s, and they had kids. Their kids had kids, and now it's like I'm talking fourth, fifth generation where like they probably have never been to Medea.
Yeah.
So it's kind of I don't know. It's a different type of festival.
We gotta
It's a
start
great,
bringing
very
out some
successful festival.
poncha huts.
All
Have you
right?
ever had poncha?
No, never. I don't even know what that is.
It's like their
I'm
cocktail.
not that
Like
Portuguese, you know?
no, no, I only know because I would have never known if I didn't go there. But it's the cocktail that they make, and it's kind of like a biting-ish where they
Typing. All right.
do a lot of meddling with the like honey and all that. It's so good. So we'll have to
Yeah.
I'll have to look something up and show you what it is, but
All right. All
it's
right.
made so fresh, and like they have all these like dashkas basically that are like huts, and they
Mm.
make the poncha right there fishing for you, and there's just peanuts everywhere. It's like poncha
Oh,
and
geez.
peanuts. You just like hang out all
Wow.
night. But that's
That's
one
awesome.
of the Mother's things that I remember that was so fun. And the Cornish-bit, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what is like your biggest influence with like DJing? Who do you look up to?
In terms of like a famous DJ.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly.
So like I grew up listening to a lot of EDM, house, techno. So like I could say my biggest influences in that is probably like Tiesto,
Yeah.
David Guetta, Afrojack, Armin van Buuren. I could go on and on.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a lot of those artists, like Dutch artists, and they are artists. And I know the stigma of a DJ is like you play other people's music, but these people
Yeah.
create their own music, and that's what I love about
How
it.
do you beat that? Like, how do you beat, because when I'm helping like some of these events and get DJs and organizers, there are some DJs that are like, I don't want to be called a DJ. They are almost like against being called DJ because they don't want to take like,
The
I don't know
artistry away.
where somewhere down the line someone like made it like it's not as cool or something, but there's
Mhm.
some stigma that it's not as, I guess, like it's not talent
Big.
or something, right?
Yeah.
Like people don't think that there's a
Um,
talent in it.
so there's DJs, there's producers, there's DJ producers. Like, so the producers kind of like we've always had producers, just like we've always had DJs. Now I feel like because DJs from Europe who are also producers making their own beats, making their own tracks, before it became so like much more mainstream, it would always be like, all right, like Rihanna featuring this DJ, or they wouldn't even get named. It would just be like, and like the credits, it would be like, all right, produced by, David Guetta or whatever it was, right? Now these producers and DJs have gone so mainstream that now it's like, all right, and David Guetta was a pioneer with
Yeah,
this
I was
because
gonna say that.
David Guetta, like in the 2010s, when Love Takes Over, like that era, it was like, all right, no, David Guetta produced this track and it's featuring this singer who just happens to be called Rihanna or Nicki Minaj or whatever the case may be. So like it was like that's the headliner. This is my song. You're
Yeah.
just singing on it. So when that kind of shifted, it opened up this whole new world for DJs and producers where it was like, all right, now you take an artist like BB Rexa, right? So she got big, right? She has her own music now, and she's an amazing artist, right? I was listening to BB Rexa, and I found her on one of David Guetta's tracks, like long, long time ago, and I'm like, oh, who's this? And I had no idea, but like the girl singing on this track from this DJ that I like to listen to, I'm like, oh, this is awesome! Like she's a really good voice. And then it was like I kind of when she started releasing her own music, I'm like, oh, I've heard this girl before, So it's kind of like now DJs are bringing these artists and kind of like giving them that one big hit, and just like then they take off on their own.
Yeah.
Another one is who else? Charlie XCX, even like Dua Lipa. Like she started like doing songs for like DJs.
Mm-hmm.
So and then they kind of just took off from there. So
Yeah.
it's
It's
it,
a
it kind of shifted in that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Tiesto and David Guetta days really opened up a whole new
Mm,
avenue for the DJ word, the DJ
mm.
world in general. So thank God, right? Because I feel like there was such a like ugh, you're just a wedding DJ, right? Like it was kind of like
Yeah,
that. Where now it's like, oh, no, you need a good wedding DJ. Like you kind of
yeah.
have more of an appreciation for it,
Mhm.
and
Well,
it's not
I saw
easy.
no 100%. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
100%. I saw so. you need talent to mix music. You need to know
Totally.
music to mix music. I try so hard to mix in key from one song to the next because you want those melodic tones to just blend into the next song.
Yes.
I know DJs that kind of just fade in, fade out. Doesn't matter what the BPM is, doesn't matter the tempo, doesn't matter anything. They just kind of, all right, we're gonna go into this now. And it's like a very slow fade. And it's like you hear like when you see your people on the dance floor kind of like skipping a beat because like they don't know which song to listen to because you're in between two tracks, that's a problem.
Yes.
Like you want to be able to change songs flawlessly without them even knowing.
Yeah.
So kind of use the underlying tones from, track A to bring in like the vocals of the next track. You have the bass line going on one track and it's like, all right, like you bring in another song and it's like everything kind of just hits
And
those
that's
one, two, three,
so
four. Like
hard to do.
it's so important. But you need to know that, and that's a talent in itself.
Oh yeah.
Something that needs to be worked on, something that needs to be practiced, and a lot of it's trial and error. Um, but I actually heard a podcast from a friend of mine in the DJ industry, and this guy's like one of the biggest wedding DJs in the country. He said when COVID hit, there was this stigma between wedding DJs and club DJs, right?
Mhm.
And it's like if you were a wedding DJ, like you were not getting booked at clubs. But if you were a club DJ, like, oh, you can't do a wedding. It was kind of like that whole like
Yeah.
wall that they put up. But when COVID hit, nobody was going to the clubs, right? So like these club DJs kind of came in, and then there was weddings happening, but it was a very like the rules with 25 people, or there was a certain amount, but the clubs were completely closed. So these club DJs kind of migrated over and started doing weddings to make money, and they were like, oh, like they brought this whole new level to weddings that made it feel like it was a nightclub, and they brought that energy and they brought all that like high energy music and just had fun and turned it into a rave basically.
Yeah.
So then the club DJs, after kind of COVID subsided, the club DJs were like, oh, we can do this. And people wanted that high energy stuff. So they kind of just stayed. And then they were still doing the club stuff. So what happened was I kind of take it like the DJs that didn't mix and the DJs that weren't doing that were kind of falling behind.
Mm.
And people were like, I'm gonna book this guy because he brings the party, he brings the energy,
Yeah.
which is kind of what's happening like with me. I'm in a market where like there's a lot of DJs, and it is a saturated market in the Northeast where it's like, oh, I've been a wedding DJ for 40 years and I'm still doing it. And I show up with a black tuxedo with the bow tie and like the whole thing. And it's like, ladies and gentlemen. And like, I don't want to say cheesy because obviously like that's what they've become. You're playing Cool in the Gang and Celebration, and it's like you get the people going like this, and like that's it. There's nothing else,
Yeah.
right? But then when you bring in like the mixing skills and like the high energy and the building the energy in the dance floor, then it's like, oh, all right, like now we're rocking, we're doing this. I can still play Cool in the Gang, I can still play all that stuff, but it's like how you play it and when
Yeah.
you play certain songs, right?
The craft.
Yeah, it is. It is a craft and it's an art. I feel like what this guy said, I'm going back to that whole like club DJ thing, was back in the day, it was bands, right?
I was
And
literally gonna say that. Yeah.
it was bands. And I'm not knocking it. I love bands. I think a really good band is really good, right?
Yeah.
Now, a band practices their set list, right?
Mhm.
And if you're a really good band, then obviously you have a wider variety of what you can play. Now, when it comes to requests, a lot of bands are limited,
Mhm.
to what they know how to play and what they've practiced and whatever, right? So it got to a point where when the bands that were kind of mediocre doing weddings, they kind of filtered out because they were charging a lot of money for weddings back in the day. And they're like, why am I going to pay this guy or this band to maybe like kind of like halfway play a song here and maybe get it right? Or I can just pay a DJ to play the original track and I'll get the song like I want it from the original artist, right? So like those bands that weren't as good, like the really good bands were still getting booked for weddings, but then those kind of like other bands were like not getting as booked as much because DJs were kind of stepping in. And it's kind of happening now with like the DJs that aren't mixing. The really good club DJs are kind of coming in and they're like, all right, move over, like we got
Yeah.
this.
We
You
got
know what I mean?
this is
But like
actually a
the
skill.
really good bands are still getting booked,
Yeah.
So it's an art form in itself, and it's kind of personal preference with how people
Yeah.
want it.
I used to be, well, clearly I'm biased. I've been around live music my whole life, but I used to be like band or nothing, band or nothing. But
Mm,
throughout the years and how music has evolved and being in the whole wave of the
mm,
EDM music and the craze that we went through, I learned so much about that craft. I dated a producer, so I learned so much about house music and everything as
mm.
well. So it's a whole different world. It's so different than live music, but at the end of the day, if you don't know how to make a set list for your crowd, you don't know how
Mm.
to keep a crowd going. Because
Yeah.
one of my bandmates that makes a set list, like he puts so much thought into what song is coming and how we're ending and what we're gonna say and all of these things. And there's so many bands that go with the same set list every single festa and every single time,
You can't do it.
and you can't. You definitely can't do that at all. And yeah, we can't play every song. So the times that we don't have a DJ, what are we doing? We're putting music on the what is it called? The freaking
iPod.
iPod. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like aging me. I feel
Yeah.
like now saying that, but yeah, we're like doing that. There's no hype in that, right? Like there's
Yeah.
no energy in that. But we can't play all those songs. So
Yeah.
there is so many learning lessons and learn, like there is such a place for both of us in general,
Mhm.
but the craft of building a set list and the way that you build your set list for weddings and knowing that the beats have to come in on the same beats per minute and all of that is so much of the craft before you even get to the venue. Like there's so much work that happens before you even get there that people don't realize it. And what's nice is that you make it look easy because people think you're probably just over there just throwing songs and like, no, this is actually carefully curated.
It is. It is. And it's like there's certain times where you play music like and I people watch a lot.
Yeah.
Like when I'm at a wedding, I'm like, all right, what's this? Oh, that's definitely the party table, right? Or
Yeah, yeah,
like this
yeah.
one's gonna get those people going. So like I kind of read the room. I'm very good at reading the room. Like I said, I do ask for like the couple to give me like kind of like because they know their guests more than me, obviously. I know the bride and groom to a certain extent, but they know their guests. So
Mhm.
like, hey, like make me a Spotify playlist, make me an Apple Music playlist. A lot of like I tell them I'm not going to play everything on that list, but that gives me a good idea of the type of vibes you're going for. And
Totally.
from that, I can kind of pick like, oh, I'll play this, I'll play that. And most of the stuff they put on there, I'm going to play. It's in my normal routine. But I almost never, ever, ever play like a same exact set. And there's some routines that if I'm not recording like on my computer, because I try to record my sets. One for like better like audio quality when I do like my reels and stuff, but other just to kind of look back and be like, oh, like I did this routine, this worked out really well.
Yeah.
So sometimes I forget to hit record, and that routine that I just did, if I don't like remember how to do it, I'll never duplicate it. It's kind
Yeah.
of like, oh, like how did I do that? You
Yeah.
know? And like sometimes like my assistant will be recording me and he'll be like, man, like you never did that before. How'd you do that? And I'm like, I don't know.
I know that's like kind of the beauty of being in the moment though, and then
Mhm,
really like heightening your skill. You're
mhm.
like, "Oh, I can get better. I'm
Yeah.
not capped out."
I do. I take a lot of risks at weddings, and sometimes like they really pay off. Other times I'm kind of like, ooh, did I do that for me? Like I don't know, because like you got to think about it. Like 95% of the time, right? Maybe even higher than that. I'm playing for people that aren't DJs, right? I'm
Yeah.
playing for your average person or even people that don't even know anything about music. So I'm here kind of like sweating, like, oh, like I got to mix here, I mix this, I make sure I mix that. And then it's like, if I'm off like a beat or like a second, I'm just like, oh man, I get so mad. But then like the people are like, oh, that was awesome, right? And I have parties where I personally myself, we're all our own biggest critic, right? So like I have parties where I'm just like, oh man, I didn't feel it today. Like that wasn't me. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the gig, like people will be like, that was the best wedding I've ever been to. And I'm like, oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's so
So it's kind
crazy. Like there's so many like mess ups or fumbles or whatever in a performance, and like you'll go out to your friend or whatever, and you're like, "Fuck, I really fucked up in the first set." And they're like, "When? Where? What are you talking
yeah,
about?" And I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh, thank God, you didn't
yeah.
or know
Well, that's the
about it."
thing. Like for your average person that isn't in the industry, they don't know too much about music. They're just like, oh, this is nice, you know?
Yeah,
And then other people, I'm like going hard, like the best DJ set I've ever done, and they're like, you didn't play the whole song. I'm like, dude, I'm not here to play the whole song. I'm here to give you an experience. I'm here
yes,
to give you
yes,
like the atmosphere and build that dance floor. You know what I mean? Like I try to play the meat and potatoes of the song. Like I
totally.
give you a chorus, the recognizable parts of a
All you
song,
need,
which
anyways.
of course, right? You got to keep it moving because
Yeah.
like there's so little time when it comes to a dance floor at a wedding. You know, especially like around here, like yeah, I'm done by like 11 o'clock sometimes. 11 o'clock is a late wedding for me. Like if I'm done at 10, like I don't start playing till almost 8, 8:30. So I give you maybe 2 hours, an hour and a half of like a dance set. So I have an hour and a half to give you the best party of your life.
Oh, that's
And
kind
it's
of
so hard.
short, right?
It is. Some of my dance floors are like after all the formalities and everything, it's like I get an hour and a half, 2 hours of dancing, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah, that's
I
another
gotta send
call
it.
out. I feel like for weddings, like really choose what you want in your timeline. Because I
Yeah,
feel like there's so much wasted time on like cake. I think that's
hmm
like the number one wasted time. Like not
yeah.
everybody wants to you just do your little
But you're
thing while
seeing
the
it
music is
now.
going, like
Yeah,
don't
you're seeing
stop
it now
music
in
ever.
couples. Yeah. But like I mean I meet with couples every week and like they're like, "Hey, like we don't want to like keep the parent dances till like a minute and a half. We're going to do a private cake cutting in the back. We're not announced. We're just going to take the photographer there. No bouquet, no garter, nothing like that. No big speeches. Like we're going to do a thank you speech. What our best man and maid of honor aren't even going to do a speech. We're just going to, do that instead of having like all the couples walk in one by one and doing like their own little dance to everyone has their own song and it's like how Portuguese people are, you got like 12 people in your wedding party right, 12 couples, and it's
And
like
10 years
it's a
later you don't talk
24.
to any of them.
I know, yeah. Well, but that's the whole thing. It was like the whole thing, like, all right, I'm gonna pair this groomsman with that bridesmaid, and it's
Yeah,
like, well, all right, we're gonna do this dance when we walk in, and it's like there's so much wasted time. I
totally.
can't tell you how happy I am. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram, but I got this new like VIP club sign. It's like those marquee. It's like this big like marquee sign,
Oh,
right?
that's cool.
And it's like if you get VIP at a club,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they
yeah,
come out
yeah.
like with bottle service and
Yeah, yeah,
everything like
yeah.
that. So I ended up getting a sign like that, and people love it. So I tell them, I'm like, hey, how about you picture this, right? You're about to walk in your bridal party who's supposed to like amp you up. They're gonna walk in right before you, but instead of having like, here comes this bridesmaid and groomsman, here comes this bridesmaid and groomsman, they all walk in together like your entourage, and they bring that sign saying Mr. and Mrs. Souza, right? Hands up in the air,
Insane.
everybody's partying, right? And then that's your party crowd. So you want them to hype you up right before you walk in.
Totally.
And even though they come in and they bring in that big sign, like your energy and your people are there for you, for the bride and groom. So your energy is just gonna amplify that even more. Even though they're coming in with the big sign and everything like that, your entrance, because your people are in there, and it's gonna give them like such like I don't know, it's just gonna such high energy
Yeah.
that like when you walk in and you make that grand entrance, it's gonna be that much like it's just gonna take it up a notch. So like and it's quicker, right? So which is what we were talking about, like kind of like, all right, give it up for your wedding party. They all just walk in.
Yeah, I've been
It's not
seeing
like,
that lately.
so it's great, and I love that. Some people, honestly, no wedding party at all. Ladies and gentlemen, you know why we're all here? Give it up for the bride and groom, and
I think
that's
we're
it. Nobody
stepping
else
into
walks
that
in.
era where we're doing like less of a wedding party,
Hmm.
less of the like dragged
Hmm.
out things for the parents. Typically, it's like, the dad's paying, so I guess we got to do this and do that. I definitely feel like my dance with my dad and my husband's dance with his mom was way too long. Like when I'm like, why didn't I cut that? What was like the weirdest request you've ever received from a wedding?
Yeah. So I first off, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get hate for this. I love my boys to death. I love my kids. Please leave your kids at home. Like when you go to a wedding. And I do.
I
I
don't
love
want
my
to take them
kids.
either.
No, right. But like, so when you get these weddings where there's kids, right? I had this one dude, and for some reason, this always happens at weddings where it's like the mom, like of the couple, will be like, you know what? You take them. I'm gonna have fun tonight. And the mom's like getting hammered. So now you have this poor dad with three little girls, and they're like jumping on him, going crazy, fighting each other, and he's playing babysitter. So now he's like, oh man, what am I gonna do? Comes right up to me. Hey man, you think you can play Baby Shark for my
Oh
kids?
God.
I'm like, dude, this is a wedding, man. I'm sorry. I feel your pain. I know you're doing this. You're trying to make your kids happy. I appreciate that. Give them your phone or something because I'm not playing Baby
Yeah,
Shark.
bring the iPad, bring
You
all
know what I mean?
iPads.
Like, but it's like things like that. Like, really? Like, would you want that played at your wedding? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So my husband
and
finally
like,
got to come to a show without the kids. He's like,
yeah,
I kind of felt like we were like eating again. I'm like, I
right.
know.
My wife went to a wedding with me too a couple weeks ago, and she was like, "Oh, like she loved being with me."
Yeah.
But then she kind of also looked at me at the end of the night. She's like, "How do you do this every weekend?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. I love it." Like that was my first wedding of the weekend. I had a wedding the day after that. She didn't go with me. She's like, "Man, like you're gonna do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna do this again tomorrow. It's fine. Like just put this here," because she was helping me break down and set up and everything. She's like, "Really? You do this every single weekend? How do you like this?"
I know. It's a thrill. It's like that adrenaline rush too. And then when you
Yeah.
have a passion for it, it's like there's truly nothing better than doing something that you love
Mhm.
to do. Okay, what is your favorite party song? What is like the song? We talked about Mañana de Mañana, which
Yeah.
we played twice last Saturday.
I saw. That's awesome.
I'm like, we never play songs twice, but like the fact that people were asking for it again, we're like, fuck it. We'll
Yeah,
play
that's
it
awesome.
again.
Yeah, I love that song. Like Portuguese or just in general?
In general.
So like my biggest party song that gets me going and just I know like a lot of people love it is a song called Discoteca by Pitbull. So this song is actually sampled by now the artist is getting for me. It's
It's not Dev, is it?
no.
Okay,
It's
she
la
has
la
one and
la
I
la
do
la
the same thing.
ATC around the world. Okay? So you know the song la la
It's
la la la
literally the
it
only
goes
lyrics in the
around
whole
the
song.
world and la la la, right?
It's
So
awesome.
that song it's Pitbull has this song, it's called Discoteca, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, if you came to dance, put your hands in
Yep.
the air. And if you came to drink, put your drinks in the and it's like la da 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 da. And he goes into it
Yeah.
like and it's right the breakdown right before the chorus. It literally him and like probably like some orchestrated like chorus going like la 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 la. And then it's like all the pretty women, let me see you there. La 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 la. Right. So like it's
All
just
the
such high
snares and
energy
stuff.
because like people know that melody. People
Yeah.
know that melody through and through. So it's
Oh
like
yeah.
you play something like that and it's so hype. Oh, it's like one of my biggest like I love playing that song so much.
And I'm guessing like anything George Fredo, Roberto Leal.
Oh, of course, yeah. You hit him with those titolitos, you hit him with Batupe. They go hard. I
Yeah.
actually it's so
Do you
so
have to do
funny.
chamaritas or anything?
Like the
The
not the
like
three step, the kind of
the
the
one the
pimba.
like
Pimba.
no, the chamarita, maybe you guys don't do it, but like sometimes we get requests for chamaritas that we literally just recorded us playing it, and if they request
Really?
it, we just play it because
Vidi volta chamarita.
I'll have to send you, but they
Yeah.
do like an organized dance, like vamos a
Yeah.
praia. Da-da-da-da-da. Like they're all in a circle and they do these call outs and stuff.
Is it almost like a Marsha type thing?
They all do like
Right?
these call. It's an island thing. It's not a
Oh,
continent thing because I still to this day don't know how to
yeah.
dance it. But there's all these calls and everything.
If like there's a specific song with it, I would definitely know. Like if you were just like, oh, like we usually do it with this song or whatever.
Yeah,
But you know.
I'm like, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
been a long time that you've been doing this. Do you see yourself doing this to like forever? Will this be your
Uh,
retirement
I don't
plan?
know. So I actually I don't do this full time, which is crazy. Everybody thinks I do. So
How'd
I
you
actually
do
work for a
it?
construction company. I work
Typical Portuguese.
construction. I've been yeah, obviously, right? Come on, it's the Portuguese American dream. Um, but yeah, so I am a union laborer. I work full-time construction. I'm a foreman for a construction company. And when I'm not doing that, obviously, I'm gigging, I'm doing weddings every weekend. So I do have my busy season. Being that we're in the Northeast, I don't work from like Christmas time to about March. So I'm home because we obviously with the snow and the weather, we don't work in the winter. I do road construction, so obviously we can't do that. So that's my time where I kind of like hunker down and I'm like, all right, time to work and practice my routines. And that's when the Monday mashups come out, and that's when
Yeah.
you see more of me on Instagram,
Oh,
more of me, not my
yeah.
gigs. So with that, my winter time I use for practicing, for preparing for the next wedding season. And I don't know, like this wedding seasons kind of go up and down with me. Like this season's been great. And then I have other wedding seasons where I'm just like, oh, I'm exhausted. Like, do I want to keep doing this? And
Yeah.
then like you have that one wedding where like, you're amazing. This was the best wedding I've ever been to, which it does happen a lot. And I'm just like, damn, I got to keep going. And like, there's some times where I'm just like, I'm so up and down with it that I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, like I'm comfortable with where I'm at. I don't want to grow anymore. And then there's other times where I'm like, oh, I'm taking this thing to the moon. Like wherever I can go, like I want to just reach the pinnacle of this. And over the years, it's kind of slowly just been like a climbing thing for me. But I don't know. I feel like that with anything, that my time comes and goes, right? With any like artists, even artists, like some are generational, right? Some are, I feel like people are going to be looking back and looking at my videos and looking at like the weddings that I've done in the past, and they'll be like, "Oh, that was awesome." But I do also at the same token, like, I don't know, like I'm 31, so I still have a lot of life left in me. But
Totally.
then I think to myself, like, do I really want to be that cheesy 55, 60-year-old
Nah.
wedding DJ with the tuxedo? Like when I got all these young guns kind
Maybe
of like
one of your
leveling
kids
me
will
up.
do it, and you'll be doing the lighting and
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I feel like there is like a certain shelf life for it. So I'm just kind of taking it all in as I can and just doing as much as I can with music and trying to like be better than I was yesterday
yeah.
and giving people that best experience that I know I can give them, you know. And then whenever it's time for me to slow down, I'll slow down.
You'll
Like I
know.
said,
Yeah.
this isn't my full-time gig, so I can kind of if I don't want to do a wedding this weekend, I'll be like, huh, I already got three weddings, so I'm good. I don't need a fourth or you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
can kind of look ahead in my calendar and say like, you know what, I already have like so many gigs that month. You know, hey, sorry, I'm booked. You know, I can do that because it's not my full-time job. So
Yeah.
I guess that's one advantage to not being full-time.
Typically, all musicians have a job.
Oh, of course, right?
It's very hard to live off music. I mean, people do it, but it's really hard. How can people get in touch with you if they do want to book?
So most of the time people book me through social media. I got all my socials on there. I got my dot profile, which has my email, which is probably the best to reach me. If you want to follow me on Instagram, at DJ Infinite is my handle. I joined the TikTok revolution. I was late to the party, but whatever.
It's fun, right?
So it is, it's fun, yeah. So I'm on there at DJ Infinite Official. I'm also on Facebook, Infinite Entertainment Group, which is the name of my entertainment company. Yeah, that's pretty much the spots where you can get me. Also on Wedding Wire, weddingwire.com for like the people that are really shopping for vendors, and that's where you'll get most of my honest, like real wedding reviews.
That's amazing, which are really, really good. I read some of them.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
What is one closing now? And I'll make sure to link all your things and post everything. What is one piece of advice you can give to the younger generation of DJs or someone that's aspiring to do this?
Be authentic. Don't try to chase what other people are doing. Build your own brand and post a lot of content.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing I can tell people because
And the hardest
I
thing.
yeah, it is. It is so hard because like
So
my
hard.
phone memory is full of like just like stupid little clips that I'll probably never use, but I keep on the back burner just in case so I can kind of like, you know, give people highlights and stuff. But yeah, posting is the hardest thing. And but that's what has been given me what I have now. Like the clout that I have, I guess, or whatever it is. You know, you build your brand as like what do you want to be, right? Like
Yeah,
find your niche and run with it. So like I said, me, I'm like that Portuguese American millennial DJ, right?
for sure.
So I kind of built my brand around that. I cater my content to that. You know, if you just start posting like, oh, like this guy's posting these types of TikToks, I'm going to post that and I'm going to get the same thing. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Like create your brand, be authentic, and just do what you're good at. You know, don't try to be the next
Follow
other
your
DJ.
gut.
Of course, yeah. Don't try to be like this guy's famous, so he's doing this. I'm going to do the same thing and I'm going to be famous. It doesn't work like that.
Can't
You know, just
replicate.
right. Yeah.
All right, Andrew, it was so nice getting to know you. I'm so happy that we did this, and I'm looking forward to
Awesome.
for everyone to see your skill, your craft. You truly are so talented, and
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to seeing you. Hopefully, we get to be at the IPMAs together one
Right?
year.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be awesome. And
That would
I
be
gotta get out to
awesome.
Cali, man. I really do. I want to see, is it what is it? The Festa de Bola that they have? Is that
Oh,
Artesia?
that yes, I'm playing in
Yeah,
Artesia on the 26th. So that is a
that's
hall
awesome.
that a lot of people want to do their thing at, and they hired a lot of DJs there too.
Of course, yeah. And like for all your listeners out in Cali and like other parts of America or Canada or wherever, I am New England based. I do get requests for like New Jersey, Connecticut. I play a lot of like Northeast weddings. I'm actually playing a wedding in San Miguel next summer,
Shut
which is gonna be
up.
awesome.
That's
Yeah, that's gonna be it's one of my
amazing.
it's my claim to fame.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, so just because I'm not from there, like if it works out, obviously like there's a lot more logistics in getting me there or wherever you are. But like if it works and it's in the cards and you really want to, you know, make it happen for your wedding, like I'll be willing to travel if it works, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, like with my family and stuff, like I would like to have them go with me, you know, and it's experiences that we share together. I don't really like to travel without them. It's more the experience like, hey, I'm gonna play a wedding in San Miguel. Like, yes, I'm getting paid to do that, But that I'm using that money to kind of like have my family go with me. Like I want my kids to experience it. I want to be there with my family too.
Yeah.
So I kind of use it as like a little mini vacation. So California people, don't be
Yeah,
afraid.
let's get 'em out here.
Let's do it. Let's
All
have some
right.
fun.
All right, we'll talk soon.
It
Congratulations
was a
on all
pleasure.
of your success and everything.
Thank you, Sylvia.
You're
Keep
so welcome.
going.
Thank you.
Honestly, Portuguese Collective, I love it. Keep
Thank you
going.
so
Keep
much.
going. Keep going.
I
All
appreciate
right.
it. All right. See ya.